Welcome back to part 2 of our user inputs. The next we are gonna do about next we are gonna do talk about with request arrays. So we got request arrays, and it does not matter whether the post or the get method was used to send data. The request array can be used. That this array typically contains the get and the post arrays, but may also contain the cookie typical array. And after this request arrays, we're going to talk about security concerns. But the security concerns doesn't contain the cookie array, so we can only make the cookie array into our request arrays. So we can do something. Let's see. We got echo. We can say we want print. We use the request array, and we write my string. That's all. What would this print? We will print out full bar. We're getting it from here. This is our string, our my string. They go to full bar, right? That we did. Because we're getting our class. Now we're print out full bar, technically. So the content of the request array can be set in the PHP configuration. Alright, so next, let's comment this out. That's simple, guys. If you want to learn more about request arrays, just visit the php.net website and just search for request arrays and we'll give it up to you. You guys can learn more. So next we are going to learn about security concerns. Security concerns, that will be that any user provided type of data can be manipulated. Therefore, it should be validated and sanitized before being used. If you don't validate or sanitize, then your form is a huge risk. Basically, people can put junks and they can pass the whole form. For example, an email address form. Basically, you have a contact form, you have a name and an email address and a message, right? The more important thing, we want to create a valid email address, right? So before we create the email address form, the validation, let's first say what the validation means. Validation means that you make sure that the data is in the form you accept in terms of data type, range, and content. And if you want to validate an email address form, basically you can use the filter var function. Basically, you can do something. You can say if it's not filtered, or we are using post method. And we say email, right? We want to validate our email. So next, we can use the filter validate email. It's already there. You guys can check this onto the php.net website. So we say filter validate email. And then next, we want to print it out. And we will say to the user that that's a invalid email address. That's all. It's a validated email. Filter all and filter validate email. As I said over here, basically for second constraints, you guys have to use validation or sanitizing, right? So sanitizing is when you disable potential malicious code in the user input. Malicious as in if the user wants to go to your SQL inject your form or whatever they can do with the hacks, you know. So sanitizing is when you disable potentially malicious type of code in the user input. Yeah, so this is done by escaping the code according to the rules of the language where the input is to be used. For example, if the data is sent to a database, it needs to be sanitized. That's common sense, right? You just have to sanitize so it won't be affected. So if the data is sent to the database, it needs to be sanitized. So we are using the MySQL will escape function that will disable the embedded SQL code. The MySQL will escape string. Basically, if you use something like this, escape string, right? This will escape the special character in a string for using an SQL statement. Here's an example of sanitized, like a code for our database use. We can come on and say sanitize for database, no, uses. So we say we have a variable name, right? Because our phone we have a name, an email address, and a message, right? So we got that. We want to say my SQL will escape string. And on that we gotta say post as name. And then if you want to execute the SQL command, we say SQL command. So we say SQL. So we want to select it. We want to get it from our database users where it is. And then we will use a dot. We say variable name, right? We want to get it from here. And we can say something like this. And then we want to result. Want to clean up the result, and we say we want the SQL query. Whatever we have done over here, we got it from the users, the use table, and everything. And we want to tell the result to the users, right? So we say let's go. Pretty much that's all. I think. Oh, and page 7 we got that. Okay. Let's see if you guys can use that. So when the user supply data is outputted, right, over here, when it's outputted to the web page as text, then we use the HTML special chars. The HTML special chars is the function that we should be used. It disables any HTML type of markup so that the user input is displayed but not interpreted. So if you want to sanitize the web page, right, we say echo, we use the HTML special chars, and we see we want to post it, we want to be over here onto our web page, and we say comment. That's all, guys. If you guys have any problems in this part, just shoot me a message and I will help you guys. And I will see you guys on part 3. I want to make this video short.